Mask up, America. Mask up or else. Or else someone's going to be really mad. Someone in charge is going to be really mad. You know, in Pennsylvania, they got all these rules where you have to wear a mask inside your own home. In New Hampshire, unfortunately, the great live free or die state. Great motto. A motto I live by. This is the state I grew up in. Well, in New Hampshire, they got a rule that even if you're walking outside, just walking down the street or walking on the beach, you got to wear a mask. You know, I'm not arguing, let's be clear, against the masks, but I am arguing about the refusal of anyone on the left right now to understand that it may not always be appropriate to wear one, like in your own home, right? Or when you're hiking in the woods in New Hampshire, or when you're distant enough and on stage reading to a group of children, getting back to the Melania Trump issue. You know, there's something quasi-fascist, if you would, about this moment in time. And I look at it and I see a very slippery slope. We need to stick up for what is right. Speaking of which, if you haven't, right now, I need you to do me something. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go and subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to my channel, because, you know, they don't want you to hear this. And it's really important that we stick together and that we develop a coherent message. I've spoken to so many of you, and you tell me how devastated you are about the election, and I get it. But you know what? It's okay to feel bad. Believe me, it's really okay. And you need to take a little time and let it sink in. But I'm going to tell you this. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to embrace what we can do together, because we can organize, we can make sure our voices are heard, we can make sure that our election system is reformed so that every legal vote counts. We owe that to ourselves. We owe that to our future. So again, subscribe right now to this podcast, into this channel. I'm telling you, we need to stick together. I'm not okay with absentee ballots. You know, it was a moment in time, a pandemic, right, that was highly politicized. Can we keep this in perspective for a moment? I mean, this came out of nowhere, right, out of China. And let's be clear, in less than a year, it's amazing. The Trump administration was able to bring to market multiple vaccines. I mean, this is stuff that even NBC News said way back in May, when the president said we may get a vaccine before the end of the year. They said, oh, fact check, he'd need a miracle for that. Well, it looks like that miracle has come. And you know what? This is wonderful, wonderful news. He succeeded with his team in achieving this. But there's other stuff going on that I think is very concerning. And that's basically the respect for our votes, right? And the sanctity of our vote right now, our votes, very much at stake. We need to do everything that we can to protect our votes and to make sure that legal votes count. And I say this because I look at the absentee ballots, even being collected for Georgia right now. And I think it goes without saying, and this has really been proven out, the Democrats do a better job at the ground game for organization when it comes to absentee ballots. But isn't voting a privilege that we as Americans really should be willing to go and exercise? It's not like you just, get a piece of mail and check something off and mail it in. It makes it too susceptible. And the New York Post did a great article on this, where they interviewed somebody over the summer who had worked as a Democrat op and had effectively managed to win elections in states like New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania because of some massaging that went on behind the scenes with mail-in ballots. So I look at it and just say, let's not even expose ourselves to that. Right? Like, let's just take that off the table. Let's do everything we can to protect the system that we have going forward. So that means staying focused and staying energized. Meanwhile, the market loves all this talk of stimulus. But is this really the healthiest thing for our economy? I don't think so. I don't think so fundamentally. I would much rather see an economy that was functional, an economy that was working. But right now, from New York to San Francisco, what do you have? You got all kinds of businesses shutting down. The restaurant industry suffering big time because big government is trying to call all the shots. The 21 Club, an icon that's been around since the 1930s, just had to say goodbye to 148 employees thanks to Governor Cuomo. The Cliff House in San Francisco just goodnighted nearly 200 employees. Something's got to give. Workers need to demand more from our lawmakers. I'm on that story for you. Don't go anywhere. That's next.